Have you ever paused in a moment of silence and asked yourself, am I truly making choices, or am I just following a path that was already laid out for me, one step at a time? Is the future something we create with our decisions? Or is it something that has already been written, waiting patiently for us to arrive? This is not just a question about fate or free will. It's a question about time itself, about the nature of reality and about the meaning of our existence. So today, we confront one of the most haunting and timeless questions in all of human thought. Is the future already written? Let's begin where most great questions do, with experience. Right now, you're hearing this sentence, and a moment later, you'll hear the next. You exist in this present moment, watching the future become the present and then slip into the past. We assume time flows forward, that it moves like a river from what was through what is into what will be. But what if time doesn't really flow? What if all moments, past, present, and future, already exist? This is not just a fantasy. It's a view held by some of the most influential thinkers in modern physics. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not separate from space. It's woven together into a single fabric, space-time. In this model, time isn't like a line you walk along. It's more like a landscape you could, in theory, observe all at once if you had the right perspective. To you and me, the future feels open, unwritten. But to physics, all points in time may already exist, just like all points in space. So what does that mean? If every moment, every thought, every heartbeat, every decision already exists in this space-time map, then your future is not waiting to be made. It's already there, you just haven't reached it yet. This view is known as the block universe theory. In it, your past, present, and future selves all coexist, each fixed in place, like scenes in a film reel. You can only experience one frame at a time, but the entire movie already exists. If this is true, then the future is not a blank page. It's a chapter that's already been written. But if that's the case, do you really have free will? Or are you just reading lines in a script that's already complete? This brings us into one of the greatest philosophical debates of all time: determinism versus free will. Determinism says that everything in the universe, including your thoughts and actions, is the result of prior causes. Your choices are the inevitable outcomes of biology, experience, and physics. In this view, you could never have chosen differently than you did, and so your future is already determined, written by the laws of nature, long before you were born. But that idea doesn't sit well with most of us. It makes us feel like puppets, like our sense of agency is an illusion. After all, if the future is fixed, why try? Why dream? Why plan? But let's pause here. Just because the future may exist in some timeless state doesn't mean you are powerless. Think about a novel. The last page already exists, but the characters inside the story don't know that. For them, each decision feels real. Each action matters, and in a strange way, they do. Because even if the outcome is set, the experience of getting there is not. You still live the story. You still feel joy, pain, triumph, regret. So the question is not just, is the future written, but also, does that take meaning away from the present? And the answer might surprise you. It might be no, because even if your choices are written, they are still your choices. Still part of your experience, still shaping the way you encounter life. But before we get too comfortable, let's step into even stranger territory. There are some who believe that the future doesn't just exist, it can even affect the present. This idea is known as retrocausality, the idea that the future can cause changes in the past. It sounds absurd, and yet, in certain interpretations of quantum physics, particles seem to act as if they know what's going to happen to them. In some experiments, the way a particle behaves in the present appears to depend on how it will be measured in the future. Does this mean the future is reaching back to influence the past? Or is it simply that our understanding of time is incomplete? Either way, it challenges our most basic assumption that the future is always ahead and never behind. Let's turn now to ancient philosophy. The Stoics, especially thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, believed that the universe unfolds according to a rational order, or logos. They didn't fear the idea that fate was fixed. In fact, they embraced it. They believed that wisdom comes from accepting what you cannot change and aligning your will with the larger order of nature. In other words, the future may be written, but peace comes from surrender, not resistance. Similarly, in many Eastern philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism, time is not a straight line. It's a cycle: birth, death, rebirth. The soul travels through many lives, bound by karma, cosmic cause and effect. In this view, the events of your life may be destined, not by a God writing your script, but by your own past actions echoing forward. Here, the future is both written and open, written by your past and rewritten by your present. Even modern psychology has something to say about this. Studies show that our brains are wired to make predictions. We constantly simulate possible futures, running mental models to help us prepare, adapt, and survive. In fact, some neuroscientists believe that consciousness itself is the result of prediction, that our awareness emerges from the brain's constant guessing about what's going to happen next. So in a strange way, you are always living slightly ahead of the present, your mind stretched forward like a flashlight in the dark. Does this mean we need the idea of a future to function? And if so, does it matter whether it's real or already written? Now, let's try a different approach. Imagine time not as a line, but as a spiral. You revisit the same themes, the same lessons, the same mistakes, but each time you grow. Your path may be set, but how you walk it changes. The same road can be taken with fear or with courage, with resistance or with grace, with eyes closed or fully awake, so even if the future is written, the reader is not. You are still evolving even within the script. And that brings us to a powerful idea, that fate and free will are not enemies, they are dance partners. Fate may set the stage, but free will chooses how to move. You don't control the weather, but you choose what to wear. You don't write the sunrise, but you choose whether to watch it. This is not a surrender to helplessness. It's an invitation to meaning. Because knowing the future may be written does not make life less valuable. In fact, it may make it more precious. Every moment, every decision, every word is part of something bigger than you, something timeless. And that brings us to perhaps the deepest truth of all. Whether or not the future is already written, you are here now, in this moment, and that's where life happens, not in what is destined, but in what is lived. So what do we do with this knowledge? We live as if our choices matter, because they do, not because they change fate, but because they change us. The point is not to escape the story or to rewrite it. The point is to live it well. To find beauty in the knowing, not just in the surprise. To see your life not as a maze to be solved, but as a book to be read, with wonder, with heartbreak, with joy. So, is the future already written? Maybe. But that doesn't mean it's predictable, or empty, or meaningless. It means it's a masterpiece you are still in the middle of reading, and like all great stories, the ending may be known. But the journey is what makes it worth telling.